Yo, what is up guys? It's Pedro here, and in today's video I want to talk about Josh Conerly and how he's been amazing over these last few weeks and could be a rising star for the Washington Commanders. If you guys are new, make sure to subscribe, hit that like button and that notification bell as well so you never miss a video. Also, comment down below your thoughts going into this game, your score predictions, and anything else. So let's get right into the video. So Josh Conerly over the last 4 weeks has been playing really well for the Commanders. Forget about just for a rookie. In general, he's playing high quality football, and that's something that he wasn't doing over the first 8 games this season. And it makes sense, playing a new position, he's a rookie and he's going up against really top pass rushers in a position that's not easy to ball out right away. And he has really, proved some people wrong, and he's done really well. We're going to look at some stats from him over the last few weeks and show you guys what he's really done. So that'll be, cool to see. We're also going to go over some injury updates for the Washington Commanders, so stay tuned for that. Some guys that are coming back, some guys that still aren't back yet, some young guys that I do, want to see for the Commanders. So yes, stay tuned for that. So let's go over this real quick. So lowest pressure rates allowed in by rookie offensive lineman in week 13, and you look at the list. Josh Conerly is at the top of the list. He is at 0%. He didn't allow any pressures, and he had the most, I guess, drop back attempts. There's some other guys there: Dylan Fairchild, Josh Simmons, Tyler Booker. All did decent, but Josh Conerly is putting together some really good weeks for the Commanders, and this is amazing to see. Let me pull up. Where's the tweet? Right here. I don't know why it wasn't there, but here, PFF, you do have to take with a grain of salt. But if you look at his offensive grades, which that's all he plays, so I guess maybe some special teams too. But his highest grade was this past week, and then it was the week before, and then it was 2 weeks before, and then this past week was like, week 10 was like one of the highest that he's had. So he's only been improving. He's had some bad games for sure. Weeks 1 through really the first like 8 weeks of the season were not too good. There were some good games in there though that I thought he actually played pretty well. But the last few weeks, like, I really haven't noticed too many mistakes. Like, there was a holding penalty that it was a little tic-tacky, but it didn't end up mattering. The Commanders were able to score not on the next play, but the play after that, getting down to the 1 on that next play, and then the play after that, Terry scores. So, for me, I don't think it's really that big of a deal with that holding, and he's done pretty good with the holds, not too many. The false starts haven't been too bad as well, so he gets a huge pat on the back for what he's done over the last few weeks. And he's super young. That's the thing with Josh Conerly. He is very young. I believe 20 years old, 20-ish years old, maybe 21 at this point. So I'm just trying to find some other stats for you guys. But there was a few weeks where it was a little bit rough, and that was the first few weeks of the season, and not necessarily feeling great about his, how he was playing. But at the same time, you always have to be patient with these guys. And also, still, he's had a good 4 weeks, but we got to see more than just 4 weeks before you say a guy's, stud or not so good. We saw last year with Sanders still, we thought he was going to be a stud this year, and it hasn't been the case. Last week, though, we did have a good game. So just got to give some guys, give some players some time. Sometimes if they're really not doing anything, that's a different story. Going into their 3rd year, that's a little bit different. Johnny Newton, Ben Sinnott, those guys, they haven't done much over the first 2 years. So, they don't have too much time left before it's a little bit of a problem there. I mean, it's already a little bit of a problem, but we'll see. And Conerly was asked, about just asked a few questions during locker room availability, and he said, we're striving for every week. We go out there and bust our tails in practice. We just have to finish. And it's good for him to have a guy like Laremy Tunsil that he can learn from. And Laremy Tunsil's been really good for the Commanders. Only thing is false starts, but he's been good. Conerly's been good. You got Biage, who's fine. You got Cosme, who just had one of the best performances by an offensive lineman this year, according to PFF, and is getting the rust off, so he's good. You got Chris Paul's been playing good, and Biotish is okay, so is good at times. So you have a really good offensive line there, and you have some young pieces there on the starting offensive line as the backups too. You have Coleman, and I want to see what he can do, and then you still have Allegretti and Wiley, and I don't know if those guys are necessarily going to be there next year, but those are guys that are contributors in the NFL and even starters on a lot of teams. Like, you have legit three starters. Those three guys can start in the NFL, and I would say maybe you draft a guy in the middle rounds as a developmental piece, but I feel really good about this, Washington Commanders offensive line, and it really starts with, Josh Conerly. Josh Conerly has improved a lot. 55 pass blocking, 10 or snaps, and 0 pressures allowed, and 1 penalty. So he did really well in that game. You got to give him credit for that, and got to get credit to Adam Peters for making a good move there. So far, it's looking like it's trending in that direction. So, we'll have to continue to see over the rest of the season, but feeling good about Josh Conerly. But real quick, let's hear from our sponsor. And a huge shout out to Sleeper for sponsoring today's video. Make sure you guys go check them out. There's NBA these days. There's, college football coming up this weekend, some big games. There's also NHL, and then you got NFL as well. So check them out. Use my promo code Pedro on Sleeper and get a 100% match up to $100. Link is in the description. Terms and conditions apply. Alrighty, so now let's get into some injury updates for the Washington Commanders. So overall, really good news for the Washington Commanders this week. You have a couple guys that are out in, George Fant and, Drake Jackson. But, besides that, Noah Brown, he's questionable, but he's going to play. And then Bobby Wagner is expected to play as well. And then the big name, obviously, Jaden Daniels, number 5, Cinco, is back. And we have Kinlaw is good to go, Frankie Louvu, and then Tyler Ah. All those guys good to go for this week against the Minnesota Vikings. It's at Minnesota. It's not an easy game. The Vikings have been bad this year. 9 is not good. He's awful, but they still have a good team around him. They have Justin Jefferson. They have Aaron Jones, who's capable running back. Mason as well, and then they have Darrisaw. Let's see, is Darrisaw gonna play? Darrisaw's questionable, and they have good defense. So, Jonathan Allen's gonna be out there. Yeah, he's good to go. He is good to go for this game. So, there'll be or at least one familiar face out there. They've got good players, so we're gonna have to wait and see, how this game goes, obviously. But this is a chance for them to win. If they lose, it helps a draft pick. If they win, I guess it helps morale and everything. I'm excited though to see Jaden out there. The thing is, got to play cautiously. Can't be, he can't be playing recklessly and running out of the pocket and taking these big hits. Honestly, the next, 5 games, that's all I want to see from Jaden is limit the hits. You're going to get hit. There's going to be design runs, but dude, come on. Some of these hits you just can't take, and some of these play calls got to stop. So it's a little bit of a mix of both, but it's mostly on Jaden. You can't be taking stupid hits, and you just got to, it's great to get that extra yard or 2, but sometimes you just got to slip out of bounds, and maybe instead of getting that extra 2 yards, you lose a yard or 2. You still gain yards, but lose a yard or 2 in field position, but you're able to stay healthy. So that's really the biggest thing for the Commanders is Jaden Daniels staying healthy over these next few weeks. And then development of the young players and continuing to see Jaden do well. But Josh Conerly that we talked about before, Jalen Lane, Ben Sinnott, who hasn't really done much, Brandon Coleman, if he comes in and out of the lineup, probably not. But, he will be. He's not, going to play much, hopefully not, because that means there's injury. But he does get significant snaps during game days, on certain packages. So for us, that'll be, good to see as well. And then defensively, Jordan McGee, Cam Medrano, Alekaho, I don't know if he's playing or if he's on IR or whatever, but a little bit out of the loop on that one. And Drake Jackson's out. I want to see him play, but I guess he's still out. They did activate him off of IR, so I thought he would play this week, but it is what it is on that front. But Noah Brown back. This is another weapon to give to Jaden Daniels, so that's cool. And Terry's back week 2 of being back, first time. Really, yeah, first time since the Packers game, right? Or I guess the Raiders games that he's coming. He's playing two games in a row and coming back from injury now. This is his second game. Last time he came back against the Chiefs and got hurt. So, this in his first game. Last week though, he came back and played a good game against the Broncos, and now he's healthy going into this game against the Vikings. So we're gonna have to wait and see how he does. But thanks for watching. Hope you guys enjoyed, and peace.